welcome back for part 2 of Cupid. I am so excited for these live crochet along videos. How far have you gotten? This is how far I am for part 1. And yes, the hair takes a little bit of time to get through, but it's worth it in the end, I promise you. If you need to take breaks in between, do so. I know your hand can get a little bit sore, especially when you get closer to the tippy top, because you have to kind of hold everything in place, but it's worth it. Look how cute he is. I am so excited how far we have gotten for part 1 so far. So now it's time for part 2. And for part 2, we're going to focus on the toga, aka the clothes, and the wings, as well as the halo. We're actually going to start with the halo because it's super duper quick, and that is an optional thing. If you feel like, no, my Cupid is an actual god, which is what it really is, right? My Cupid is not going to have a halo. That is fine. You get to do whatever works best for you. If you feel like, no, mine is more angelic, okay, regardless of the history of Cupid. If you feel like your little angel, right, which we mostly say when we think of Cupid, should have a halo, then you go for it. Then you make a halo. You do you, okay? And how big the wings are going to be? Well, there's a little trick there. You can actually change it up, and you can make it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. I will show you how to do that. But I'm going to specifically focus on the part that I did, but I will show you or talk about how you can adjust it in case you want bigger wings or smaller wings, however you want, okay? And the toga, there's also some adjustments. I gave my Cupid some pants underneath, so we want to have it appropriate. So if you don't want to do that, if you want to go straight into the skirt, I talk about that as well, just briefly though, because I'm focusing on the actual pattern in the or the written information in the pattern. So just that you know, okay? Make sure that you give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so, turn on the bell, and of course share this video and comment down below. Let us know how far you have gotten for part 1. Okay, so I believe, by the way, that mine is cuter with the bigger eyes, so heads up. I think that this with the little eyes makes them look a little bit chunky, so if you want a chunky one, go for it. I feel like the bigger eyes makes it less chunky, so that's just what I'm saying. I think this one is actually cuter, in my opinion. So anyways, we're gonna go right into part 2. Okay, how's it going, everyone? Vicky says, I only have legs done. That's okay. You go through whatever pace you feel like is best for you, okay? Let's see. Maxine had to remake the body. The head was wobbly. I get it. Remember what I said yesterday. Make sure you stuff it into the neck, okay? You have to do some adjustments sometimes, okay? Let's see. I think I got all the comments. So good job for being here. I'm so glad you guys showed up. Let's see. I'm at my quilting group, crocheting. Well, which group are you in? You're right now crocheting here with us. So you're in a crochet group, just virtually, right? Anyways, okay, let's get started with part 2. Let me swoop around so you can see what I see. So the very first thing is we're going to start with the halo, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have here my piece of wire, the thinner piece of wire that I mentioned, right? I have 2 different types of these types of wire. I have one that was a straight piece, so it doesn't have it like wrapped around. So you can totally like flatten this part if you want to, right? But there were some indents in here. This is the exact same wire, just, straight. You can buy the straight too. It doesn't really matter which wire you're going to take. It should be about roughly this long. You can make it shorter. There's really no particular point. It's totally fine. So I'm going to try to make sure I'm going slow, but this is actually fairly easy, okay? You're going to take your, let's call it a darker gold yarn, okay? So take the darker gold yarn, okay? And you're going to hold it the opposite direction of where you're going to wrap. Okay, so I'm going to wrap, let's see which direction I'm going to wrap. I think it's going to be easier to wrap in this direction, right? So by the way, I'm using this guy right here to bend it around it. So I kind of need to, figure out how far I need to go. It's probably going to be roughly like this. We're going to see, okay? So what I want to do is I'm going to wrap in this direction. So I'm going to hold my yarn like this. okay? And I'm going to wrap it around it. Okay, so you want to kind of that way this holds it in place. So the first part may be a little tricky. So I'm gonna like do it like this. Okay, just that it holds it in place. Okay, you can do as far as you can in this situation. So I highly recommend that you hold tight on this. Unless you want to add some glue to it, that's fine. I'm going to check the comments in just a second. Okay, but I'm going to keep going here and I'm going to wrap, wrap, wrap. Do not let go. Okay, do not let go. And keep wrapping, keep wrapping. Okay. Keep wrapping. Do not let go, because if you're going to let go, the whole thing is going to unravel. So you're going to go as far as you need to go. I recommend going further than you think. Okay, that way you see what happens when you hold, stop for a second. So I'm going to move my finger. I'm still holding tight here on the back, by the way. Okay, I'm going to keep wrapping. Keep wrapping. I'm going to get to your comment in just a second. I just need to keep wrapping here for a second. So I'm not going to let go. I'm not letting go. Okay, I'm going to keep wrapping until I feel like this might be good. I'm going to do just a hint more. Just a hint. Okay, I think this should be good. So keep holding this, okay? Now you're going to wrap it around here, okay? Like so. Like this. And then you're going to start twisting. Okay, so you're going to wrap it around like this, and then you're going to twist it however you want to do it. I'm going to twist it like this first, and then I'm going to let go, and I'm going to twist. Okay, so that kind of holds all that yarn in place. Okay, I'm going to twist, and you can readjust it by adding it back in here like this, kind of put it back around it. Okay, if you feel like you may have, made it not so round anymore. May not fit anymore. That's okay. I'm going to twist on this side here. Okay, and you can adjust it. So now this twisted together here. So it's okay. It looks like a mess. Okay, so you can undo part of it down here because you want to be able to get into that wire here a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. Where did my scissors go? Oh, they're right in front of me. Okay. And I'm going to snip it. So I'm going to snip it here. And I'm going to snip it here. Hang on. Snip, snip, snip. Okay, and I'm going to snip it here. Okay, so I'm going to take this extra piece of wire right here and see if I can twist this around it a little bit more. You can totally take a piece of, not a piece, but your pliers, and allow them to help you a little bit and kind of bend it around. And see that? The pliers really can help you in this one. And really twist it around so that way everything holds nice in place. Okay? Now bend this down so you don't hurt yourself. Okay? And then you can snip this off a little further just to make sure that nothing is hanging down. Like this, snippity snip, like that. Now you could wrap it further down if you wanted to. See, I didn't do a good job on holding everything in place, so some of it kind of came unraveled here, but I'm going to adjust it a little bit. It kind of has a little bit of a glow to it, so, there looks like it has some heather going on. You know what I mean? So my yarn just flew away. So there you go. Okay, so now once you have this, you can totally adjust this here and add less over here. You can then bend it down, right? So I recommend making sure that anything that's pokey, you need to use your pliers or your cutters and really make sure that nothing is poking down. Okay, so I actually recommend adding a little bit of glue here just to make sure everything is secure and nothing is poking on you. But there we go. So there is your halo, which you can place in here. So if you push it far enough down, right, you won't even see that mess. So let's see how far I can push this down. So see if I push it in here. See, like this, and you can't even see that mess, right? Especially from the front. So you do whatever works best for you in this. And now it's time to do the toga. Okay, so let me see here. There was a few comments here that I may have missed. Let's see. Let's do the Vicky says, I found myself having to switch to 4mm because I was splitting my yarn constantly. Vicky, that's totally fine. The reason I'm using a 3mm hook is because I have very loose tension, okay? But if you feel like 4mm is better for you, that's totally fine. You can even try 3.5mm. The idea is to make sure that when you are crocheting that your stitches are really tight, or as tight as you possibly can without getting like hand cramps or wrist pain or whatever. I actually feel like that my first doll is a little tighter because obviously when you sit with a table, it makes it looser as I'm crocheting, especially when I'm teaching. It's always looser. But I think my first one was a little tighter. So just that you know. But yes, you can go up in hook size a little bit. It's okay, but make sure you're consistent. So if you feel like you need to go up in hook size, then be consistent throughout the entire project. Otherwise, certain things may not fit or will look off, okay? Where do you get the thick wire? At any craft store. Any craft store will have this, and you can also get it online. It's in the pattern, actually. I linked it in the pattern. You can get it online as well. So this is one way, and then there's another one that is straight. They're also called like floor wires. There's many different types that you can use, but this one is probably easier to use because it's already kind of, you know, wrapped. The other one that I just use a little tiny bit sturdier, so it's a little harder to wrap. But yeah, you do you, okay? But you can, I mean, I got mine at Michael's or Joann's or something like that. So this works. Okay, so let's now go into the toga. I'm so excited. Okay, so I have here my partial of my legs done already. So I'm going to show you kind of how to get started on this. But you pretty much, you're going to make a loop, and then you're going to connect the loop and then start with single crochet stitches. So I'm going to show you a little sample of that. Okay, just that you know how to get started. But I believe if I'm looking at my pattern here, you make a chain of 24. I'm just going to make a small chain amount right now just to show you how to get started, because I want to make sure that even my beginners are able to do this. Okay, so here we go. If I make a chain of 24, I'm going to make a smaller one right now just so I can show you. I highly recommend after a few chains, you're going to go out of your loop right there. You're going to go insert your hook into the very first chain that you made. I prefer going in a back bump, but it totally works if you don't want to. That also makes sure that not only will your chain stay straight, you're going to ignore this, it's just going to hang there, right? You're going to make sure that your chain stays straight and doesn't twist, and you can immediately pull your loop through at the very end. So watch this. So let's pretend I just made 24 chains right here. So first I see, yay, my chain is not twisted. And second, I can now take my loop and pull it right through and can start on the very first round. So you can then start immediately and going into either the back loops, or I like to go in the back bumps, and then you're going to start crocheting your single crochet stitches. So 1 stitch per stitch. Okay, you're going to make 2 of these, let's call them loop bands almost, right? They're actually your pants for your doll. So we just now need to connect them the same way as we did with the legs. Okay. Ooh, there's a little kitty cat here again. I guess my cat was playing with my stuff again, just like yesterday. Maybe it's the same hair that was flying around. I don't know. Okay, so obviously one of these is going to have their yarn cut. Okay, so this one I have it cut. I'm just going to let it hang here for now and let the yarn hang down. You can weave this in later. I could have done it beforehand, but I wanted to show you the raw information, right? So you're going to have 3 rows, if my memory's right. Yes, 3 rows each. And then you're going to cut it on one, and then you're going to repeat that on a second, right? And now we're going to connect the 2. Okay, so you're going to take your loop. I'm going to have here my yarn hanging down, so let me go over here. So this is my yarn just hanging down. I'm going to use that later. This is my stitch marker, right? So just like we did with the other project, we're now going to connect them. So wherever you made your little knot, you're going to pull it through. But remember, for the legs, we did 2 chains, right? We did one chain, pull it through, another chain. Here, we're just going to pull it through, make a chain. Okay, so we're not doing two, we're doing one because the pants are over the legs. So we want a little bit less distance between them. Okay, so I'm going to insert my hook right into the very first stitch on that other pant leg there. Okay, and I'm going to pull my loop through like so. So it's literally connect them together like this. You see that? And now I'm going to make a chain of one, and I'm going to go right into that same chain I just made, and I'm going to add a single crochet stitch. Okay, pretty much the same way as we did with the legs, but here we're doing it with the pants. So now again, we're going to go around it and we're going to crochet our single crochet stitches, one stitch per stitch. And we're doing this all the way around, and then we're going to add another chain here in the center. Let me look how many rounds we're actually doing. Once we've done that, we're going to go until round 7. So this is round 4 right here. Okay, and it's just going to be single crochet stitches. So here we go. One stitch per stitch. And by the way, by the end, you should have 50 stitches. Yes. Am I doing this right? 50? 24? Yes, it should be 50. I'm just doing the math in my head. It should be 50. Okay, so I'm going to go all the way around the leg and crocheting my single crochet stitches. And remember, we're going back into that chain one time and going to crochet one single crochet right into that chain. Okay, so here we go. Let me pull my yarn. Are you able to see the white? I made it a little darker, so making sure that you guys can see the white. But you guys let me know, okay? So right here, you need to now go back into that chain right here. But before I do so, I'm going to make sure I count my stitches because I want to make sure I am correct. So what we should have is 24 stitches around this leg plus that one. So it's 25. Okay, so let's count. I'm going to look for my stitch right here. Okay, so this would be the chain stitch right here. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so I have 25 stitches so far. Now I'm going to go back into that chain right here, just like I've done before, and make another single crochet right into it. Now I'm going to go into the second pant leg, and I'm going to crochet all the way around again, and I add 24 additional stitches right here. Okay. Let me see. Is this upside down? I feel like this might be upside down, but it's okay. It's all right. You can't really see the pants later. I think I'm crocheting this part upside down. That's totally fine. The pants are underneath anyways. You can't see them. So if you're putting your second leg upside down by accident, that's fine. The reason why I didn't see it very well is because it's white. It's okay. As long as my stitches are correct, I'm fine. All right. How are y'all doing here? Diana just finished the hair. Let's go, girl. Perfect timing. I'm so glad. So now you can start with part 2. Did you add your arms yet to your doll? I hope you did. Okay, I'm going to count my stitches again after this just to make sure I have 24 additional stitches. I should have counted while I was crocheting. But sometimes we want to talk. We want to have fun. Okay. So I'm going to check here. I think this is my last, but I will confirm. Okay. So now I'm going to count from the point on where I made my additional chain stitch. So this was right here. So that would be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. So now I have 24 plus those 2 additional ones, which makes it 50 stitches. Okay. So I'm going to add my stitch marker at this point, and now I'm going to go into rounds again, and we have 3 additional rounds of just single crochet stitches. So this would be round 5 right now. So by the way, this is your chance to ask me some questions, okay? If you have any questions, you guys let me know. I'm excited for the wings, actually. You're going to love the idea of making wings. So remember, if you don't want to do the pants part, you can skip this part. I will show you later, or talk about later, at which point you could start the skirt part of the toga, in case you don't want to do the pants, okay? Which is optional. The pants are optional. I think it's more appropriate to have the pants underneath, you know? You never know who's going to play with your doll. Typically the boys are going to do something they shouldn't. So yeah, having pants underneath is more appropriate in my opinion. Okay, so this is round 5 I'm working on right now. And then we're going to go and do 2 more rounds of just single crochet stitches. So I'm literally just crocheting 1 stitch per stitch all the way around, which is why I'm trying to speed up the process so you guys don't have to watch me just crochet single crochet stitches. But I want to keep it fun. Speaking of fun, why don't you guys tell me, for those who are doing, let's say, craft fairs, markets and things, I'm kind of curious, what kind of animals are popular right now? Or if you are not doing markets, that's fine too. If you happen to know, you know, what animals are very popular this year. I have no idea because I'm not really doing markets, but I'm kind of curious. What animals are popular right now? Because I'm thinking about making more, you know, little animals, because I looked into my stats and I noticed that some of my animals are doing well. Like people like my animals. So my crochet pattern animals I'm talking about. So I'm thinking maybe I can add more animals into my collection. But you guys tell me, what animals are popular right now? All right, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm on the 6th round, so I have 1 more round to go after this. Is the toga attached to the pants? Yes. There's no sewing involved in terms of the toga pants situation. There's a tiny bit of sewing involved to connect the arm or shoulder or chest strap situation. I'll show you that in a second, or when we get to it. But no, the pants are directly connected to the skirt part of the toga. They transition right into it. You go from one to another. If you check the pattern, you will see it talks about going into the back loop only, and then you're going to transition right into the toga part, the skirt part of the toga. All right, I have 1 more round to go after this. So that way we have 7 rounds. Let me check what we're doing after. I think we're going to do decreases after. Not many, just a few. And then we're going into the skirt. I'm not going to show you the entire skirt part because you will see there's kind of a lot of repetition happening and not much happens after. So I'm going to show you the most important part of it, and then I'm going to show you how to do the let's call it the chest strap situation. Okay, you can see the picture here on the left side of the screen, so you know exactly what I'm referring to. Okay, did I do 7 or did I do 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 1 more to go, and then I have 7. This is what happens when you have to crochet 50 stitches per round. Oh no. Oh, that was my youngest son. Hopefully he's going to call his dad. I got to remember to tell my children, I'm going live. Oh, all right. So hopefully, I think he got the message now to not call me. Sorry about that, you guys. And the funny thing is my phone is right by the microphone. So I'm sorry. Okay, let me check the pattern, the comments here for a second. You guys are saying some animals. So snakes are popular, monkeys. Let's see, what else do we have? Cats, dogs, sheep, horses, giraffe, penguin. Oh, the Highlands cows. Yes, I've seen some Highland cows. Yes. Sloths. Really, sloths? I can't even say it. That's going to be a hard one. Otters. I don't know if I've seen otters. I've seen a lot of cows and cats. Yes. What about frogs? Are they popular? Whales? Octopus? What about any of those? Are you guys doing markets, or are you just telling me random animals? I just want to make sure. Or are these your favorite animals? Let me know. I want to make sure I'm actually picking animals that everyone wants to see. So let me know. Is this from your experience, or is this because you guys like those animals? Okay, I'm almost done with round 7. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Do. I have a couple of cats on my website, actually. I have a tiny blob, like I call it a blob. It looks like a circle, like a ball. Not a circle, a ball. Like a ball cat. That looks like you just make a ball, right? And you add things to it. Those are cute. But I kind of want to do a few other ones. How do you guys feel about no-sew animals? Like things where you don't have to do sewing. I know you guys don't like sewing. Nobody likes sewing, right? I feel like I want to make some animals that have no sew. I know it's challenging as a designer, but I feel like I like it. Okay, so look how far we are. It looks like pants, doesn't it? Okay, so we're now going to start doing some decreases, okay? Ooh, I have some hair flying into my mouth. My apologies. Now I have lipstick on my finger. Darn it. Okay, we're going into the next round and we're going to do some decreases, okay? So we're going to start with a decrease right here in the front, the first decrease. Then you're going to crochet 23 stitches all the way around until over here and then make another decrease and all the way around. I'll tell you a little trick. We're only doing 2 decreases. As long as they're even, they're fine. You don't have to count, okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to count. I know that right by the crotch area, we're going to do a decrease here and a decrease here, okay? I'm not counting. So I'm going to fly solo here. How about that? Because I know I'm only doing 2 decreases anyways. So as long as they're opposite from each other, I'm fine. You'll be fine too. Just add 2 decreases. Which round is this one? This is round 8. I'm talking about round 8, okay? Patricia says she loves no-sew or low-sew animals. Perfect. You all like the idea of no-sew? That will be cool. That will include, you know, some additional little bumpy situation that you have to crochet, you know, which is fine. Like it could be done with puff stitches, with bobble stitches, popcorn stitches, or you're adding actual like increases, decreases, etc. So here I'm back on the back side here. See, I did a decrease here and I'm going to do a decrease here. That's my second decrease, okay? I didn't count my stitches. It's okay. It's okay. Now, double check after that you still have the right amount of stitches. I do recommend that. But at this point, after round 8, you should have 48 stitches. Why? Because we did 2 decreases, right? 50 minus 2 is 48. So that's where we're at, okay? 48. So here we go. Okay. Gonna keep going. Almost there. Almost at the end. Oh my gosh. Do you guys ever have that where there's like a little dead skin on your finger and it gets stuck on your yarn? I have that happen right now. I thought I cleaned everything up on my fingers, but there's something hanging right here and it's bothering me, but it's okay. I'm going to keep going and pretend it's not there. Okay, I need to move my page. My apologies, but I need to flip to the other side. And so now we're going to do a few more decreases, but this time we have more decreases. Okay, we're going in the next round, and that is round 9. We have 4 decreases this time. So that means we're going to do a decrease right in the beginning. So right here in the beginning, we're going to do 1 decrease. Remember, the decreases are done by going through the front loop only of 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That's your invisible single crochet decrease, okay? Now we're going to add 10 stitches. So is that right? I believe it's 10. 10 stitches. I'm doing the math in my head. Yeah, this should work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now we are here on the edge, or I shouldn't say edge, but you get it. It's a circle, but here on the side there, on the hip, if you want to call it. And you're going to do another decrease right here. Now we're going to do 10 additional stitches, all single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and 10. Now we're on the other side of the crotch, and we're going to make another decrease. So that's our third decrease for this round. We have one more to go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we have one more decrease right here. Again, remember, go through the front loops only. Yarn over, pull through. Oh, don't split your yarn like I did. And yarn over, pull through. Okay. Now we're going to keep going. So 1 single crochet per stitch until the end. So this would be 3, 4. Hopefully I did it right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I did it right. Look at me. Ha ha. See, if you count in between, you make sure that your stitches are correct. Okay. How are y'all doing? I hope my pants fit. Oh, your yarn is a little stretchy. It's okay. Okay. So now let's keep going. We're going into the next round. So we have a decrease in the beginning. We have 2 more rounds of decreases here. Okay. So here is 1 decrease. Now we're going to do 9 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And again, a decrease right here. Whoop and whoop. Decrease. And let's do this again. 1, 2. Are you guys counting out loud too? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Another decrease. See, if you count louder, you make sure that everyone around you is quiet. That's how you stop people from talking to you. Right? Count louder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Question, are you counting with me? Because I do that sometimes when I watch videos. When they're counting, I'm counting. It's like a sneeze, right? You're just going to repeat it. Okay, I did my decrease. So I have 9 more stitches, which I'm not going to count now because I know that my stitches are correct. Yay me. And once I reach the end, which my stitch marker will tell me, we're going to do 1 more round of decreases. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 more round of decreases, and that way we are not, messing up the crotch area. Don't botch the crotch. That rhymes, right? Am I saying this right? I have no idea. Anyways, let's do 1 more round of decreases. So 1 decrease here, and we have 8 stitches. Am I saying this right? Yes. There's the last round. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. By the way, are you aware why I'm doing some decreases? Because we want to make sure our pants fit. Because otherwise they're going to slide down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. See, we want to give our little doll a little bit of a hip, right? Like some, some area, there's some figurine happening. We want to give him like a little bit of figure. Okay, so I did another decrease. Now 8 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Another decrease. You can also say it the other way. You can say, I'm going to give my Cupid a little bit of a booty. You can call that too, if you want to say it that way. I don't care. Maybe fill a little bit. Give it a booty. Anyways, mine is going to have a nice proper hip because we can add a little belt around it, just like you see on the picture here next to me. And it should be all good to go. Okay. Let's see. Carol says, I purchased the pattern. Yes, let's go, girl. I know that way you don't have to deal with ads. I get it. I get it. Thank you for your support. And by the way, I'm saying thank you for everyone that you do this with, okay? Oh, my German accents just came out. No, I appreciate everyone who always says, I'm going to get the pattern, or I'm going to stay on their side to let the ads load instead of letting them disappear or whatever. Do it the right way and support your designers. Like, it's not just me. I'm talking about all the designers, okay? So this is our pants, okay? That's how it looks like now. We're now transitioning into the skirt part of the toga. Feel free to check to make sure everything is working, okay? If it fits, I'm not going to do this right now. That's just too tedious to go on and off. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to move my stitch marker, but I'm going to turn, okay? So you can make a, slip knot if you want, whatever. But I'm going to turn now. Literally turn your work around, and whatever is your outside loop right there, the outside, so the outside of your pants, that's the loop you're going into. So from this perspective, after I turned, it's going to look like the back loop. Now from this perspective, the front loop. You get it? Right? From your current perspective, it's the back loop you're going into. Okay? So we're now doing some, first we're not just doing one single crochet per stitch. Okay, so let's do this. So one single crochet per stitch all the way around, and that is in the back loop only. Okay, back loop only for just one round. So let me show it a little bit closer. Do you see that? I'm going in the back loop only. So this is the front loop. From my current perspective, this is the front loop, this is the back loop. I'm going in a back loop only, and I'm going to crochet one stitch per stitch right now. So the very first round is just one stitch per stitch. And we're pretty much working our way outwards now. Now, this round, if my memory is correct, let me check real quick, has 36 stitches, this specific round. Now, if you did not want to add the pants, at this stage, this is where you make your large loop, okay, of 36 chains, and then make one single crochet per stitch around it, and then you start the skirt part, okay? So if you don't want to do the pants, this is what you would do. You make a chain of 36, make it into a loop, and add one stitch per stitch of single crochet stitches all the way around to make sure you have 36 stitches in that very first round, okay? So that is what you do if you don't want to add the pants first. You can totally start that with the skirt alone. It's up to you. I prefer the pants because it also gives it some stability. Okay, so I'm just doing one round here of single crochet stitches, so I'm still with my 36. And then we're going to do increases. I'll show you like one round of the increase, okay, just that you get started on it. And then we're going to keep going, and I'll show you the other part of it. So my stitch marker, by the way, is going to be right here. But I turned my work, so it's currently not attached. It's going to be attached in a second. Okay. That darn crotch area, I know. See, if you are part of the crochet club, you know what I'm talking about. You're part of the insider club, right? We had some funny jokes happening a few months ago about the crotch area. It was hilarious. Okay, let me check here if there's one more stitch. Ooh, there's some nastiness happening. What is this? Something got dirty. I may have to rip this out and fix it. I'll do that later. So here's one more stitch. Am I right? Oh no, this is the last stitch right here. So now I'm connecting this, and now we're going to go into the next round. So right here is the next stitch over. This is the first stitch of the next round. Okay, so I'm going to make one single crochet here. If you feel like that connection right here is too big, you can sew this in later. It's fine. Okay, it happens because we were turning our work. So from now on, we're going into rounds and going through both loops. Okay, so I'm going to do one round here with you so you see how this works. So we're going to increase now. So we're going to do one single crochet in 5 stitches. So we're going through both loops again. Okay, so this was 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. And this is 5. And now we're going to do an increase. So right here, we're going through both loops, always through both loops from now on. And we're going to make an increase. And then now it's repeat. So one single crochet in 5 stitches. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then an increase. That means 2 stitches. And then repeat. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then an increase right here. Let's repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and an increase. All right. Is everything making sense so far? I want to know from you guys. Are you going to make the pants or are you not going to make the pants? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Are you just making the skirt or are you making the pants? I want to know. Hopefully I did my counting right here. 1, 2, 3, whoops, 4, and 5. And here's an increase. Ta-da! I need to rip this out later to fix this. This is bothering me because it's going to be visible right there. Anyways, so now you're going to go into the next round, okay? So you're going to move up your stitch marker, and in the next round, you're going to go 1 single crochet in 6 stitches and do an increase, okay? Then you do this all the way around. Then the next round, it will be 1 single crochet in 7 stitches, increase. Following round is 8 stitches, increase. And when you're doing this all the way until you have 10 stitches and with an increase, at that point you should be at 72 stitches. And then you're going to add 5 more rounds of just single crochet stitches. That's it. Okay. I'm going to do this off camera because I got to fix my little boo-boo right there on whatever happened here. I'm sure there was some, you know, situation happened with a pen or whatever. I'm going to fix that. But when you're done with that, it kind of comes down here. So you have that dress skirt part situation coming down. Now you should be going further than your pants. So if you're making the pants, you should be going further than that. So that way you don't see the pants that they're underneath. That's the idea. Okay. So you're increasing until you have, what did I say? 72 stitches. Then you do 5 additional rounds of just single crochet and that's it. Then you're going to, you know, cut your yarn, weave it in, etc. So I'm going to cut it for now because I need to fix this later. And I'm going to show you how to do the other part now. That's very important. Okay. And that is the, let's call it the chest shoulder strap situation. Okay. So first, let me show you how to figure out where to get started. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your pants on. Okay. So put your pants on your doll, pull it up, to-do. Obviously this is going to go around this way, right? So look, mine fits perfectly. Haha. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you need to figure out where you're going to start. So that's a little bit, there's some maneuvering around, okay? We're going to go into the loops that we left over. Remember we went in the back loop only? Well, then there are some leftover loops right here, okay? We're going to go into those, but we're not going to get into all of them. You're going to start around here, okay? Right around the point where your arm starts, okay? So from here, you're going to go down, and that's going to be your very first stitch. So what I like to do is I make my little slip knot, okay? Add it to my hook, so it's ready to go. And I'm going to look here. This is where I want it to be. So kind of right down here. So you're going to go a line and go down. Okay. And you're going to add your stitches. You can also count at that point to make sure everything is nice and even. Okay. So per the instructions, you're going to crochet 10 stitches. Okay. So let's count here for a second. So if I start here, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's perfect. It kind of starts here and then it's going to work its way over. Okay, so if I start here, going to go here and over. The reason we're going to start right here, okay, is because that part of it is straight. So if you look at the pattern here, or the picture right next to it, you can kind of see that it's straight, but on one side it's in an angle. So that's what we're going to do right here. You can also start one over, and then you're going to go a little further over. That's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you feel like that's more appropriate, then do that. Okay, I might actually do that. I feel like that's a little bit more centered. So I'm going to start right here and we're going to do 10 stitches. Okay, so I'm going to do it from the doll right now just to begin with, and then I'll take it off and do the rest of it without the doll because it's easier that way. So here we're going to do 1. I'm going to weave this in here at the same time, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now 5 more stitches here. Okay, let me look where my stitch is. 5, and this is 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so that's how it looks like. You see that? It's like right in front there. So it's your 10 stitches. You're going to work now in the way that this side is going to be straight, and then this side is going to have the decreases. So I'm going to take this off because it's easier for me to crochet that way. So we're now going to turn, okay, and we're now going to do a decrease. So whenever you're on this side, we're going to do a decrease. So regular decrease, no invisible, just regular decrease. That means you're pulling up 2 loops out of 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through. Now you're going to do the rest of the row just single crochet stitches. Okay, so 1 stitch per stitch. Is that clear? Are we all good on this part? I want to make sure that this transition is easy. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if this is easy or if there's any questions on how I just did this. Now I'm going to turn where I work, and we're going to work our way back. So this side is still going to stay straight. So we're going to do 1 stitch per stitch until you have 2 stitches left, and we're going to do a decrease on that side. So you can count your stitches if you like, or you just say on that side, I'm going to have a decrease when I have 2 stitches left. So right here, you can, I don't know if you can see it, but there's 2 stitches left, and we're going to do a decrease. So regular decrease, it means you're pulling up your loops just like that, yarn over and pull through. Then you're going to turn. You're going to do another decrease right here. 1 and 2 loops pulled up, yarn over and pull through. Again, 1 single crochet per stitch until the end. And you're going to start seeing that slant happening, right? On that one side. That's what we want. Ooh, I just split my yarn. Let's do that again. There we go. So this side is straight, and then this side is going to have the slant. So now I'm going to turn again. 1 single crochet per stitch until I have 2 stitches left on that other side where the decreases are. I'm going to keep going until I have, let me check, 2 stitches left. So right here is going to be again the decrease right there. Pull through, turn around, and another decrease. So you're really decreasing 1 stitch per row. Okay, so we're going to keep going until we have 2 stitches left. So we'll turn again, 1 single crochet per stitch until you have 2 stitches left right here, and make your decrease. Okay, let's see. Do you fold the pants down to work round 11? I'm confused by folding. I'm folding down the skirt part. Yes. Obviously, I haven't finished it yet. I showed you how to do it, but I haven't finished it yet because I got to fix my little thing in there. I didn't know my yarn had dirtiness in there. But yes, you're going to work this way down. It's just going to hang there. And then right here were the leftover loops, right? You remember we had worked from this direction and we worked our way down. Okay, so we had in that very first row, we used the back loop only, and we had a leftover loop. So when we're now working from this direction, you use that leftover loop for that very first row. Is that making sense, Maxine? Let me know if this is making sense. I need to make sure that you're getting this, because I'm not quite sure what you mean by fold the pants down, because the pants just down. I think you're making the skirt part. Yes, we're folding the skirt part down to make sure it's down so we can see our leftover loops. Is that making sense? Cindy says the visual is very easy. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, I'm going to keep going here until I have 2 stitches left. So here's our decrease again. Then I have here 1 stitch and then another stitch, and I'm going to turn. You can see I have 3 left. So now I'm going to do 1 single crochet and then last decrease right here. Okay, so now you can see I have 2 stitches right here. So we're now going to turn and going to increase, but I highly recommend that before you do so, you are going to insert your doll again, because we want to make sure it fits. If it doesn't fit, you can do an adjustment here, okay? So let me show you. So first put your pants skirt situation on, okay? And now you're going to check. Are you, let me see, I'm going to pull this up here. Are you kind of very close to the center right here? Okay, so like on the top of, let's call them the shoulders. My doll doesn't really have shoulders. It has a neck and arms, but you get what I'm saying, right? Pretend there are shoulders over here. So you want this last piece of it as close as possible to this one. If you feel like you're too far away, add one extra row of just single crochet stitches, or maybe two, right? So for me here, I feel like I could be adding like one additional row if I wanted to, but I kind of like the idea of stretching it a little bit to make sure things are holding in place. So I'm actually not going to add a row because I wanted to fit perfectly. Think of it like a loose fit versus a fit, like it's tight. I like it to be tight so nothing moves around. So I'm okay. I'm going to stop right here, and then I'm going to now do the decreases and work my way the other way around. Okay. So if you need an additional, if you're too far away, let's say you're over here. Okay. Then add a few more rows of just single crochet stitches until you get to this point right here. Okay. When you're there, then you're going to start doing the decreases. You may have to add a few extra rows on that side as well, just to balance it out. Whatever you added on this side, additional rows, add it on this side too, then start the decreases. So I'm going to start the decreases already at this point because it works for me. Increases. So we're now going to work our way backwards. So wherever our slant was, we're going to add another slant, but in the opposite direction. So that means I'm on this side now where my decreases are. Now that's going to be the side we're going to do increases. So here we go. We're going to add 2 single crochet stitches on that very first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next. So now we have 3 stitches, right? Now I'm going to turn. Okay. Constantina says, now I see it. Yay! I'm so happy. Okay, so I've turned, and right where my straight line is, that's going to be 1 stitch per stitch until I have 1 stitch left in that very last stitch where that slant is happening. Here's my slant. That's where I'm going to do my increases. So here's 1 increase. Now I'm going to turn and now have another increase because I'm still on that slant side, right? So here's another increase. Now again, 1 single crochet stitch per stitch until the end, then turn. So remember, you have the written instructions. If the visual doesn't make sense to you, just follow the pattern. That works too. But I personally think that a pattern should make sense in your head. I personally don't like flying solo in this kind of thing and say, I'm just going to do whatever feels like it's right, or whatever the pattern says. I prefer you know why you're doing it. It's very important to me that you understand why you're doing it. I'm giving you kind of the science behind why I'm designing a certain way. So I designed it in a way that one side is straight, the way you have it for a toga, and the other side is the slant, okay? So now obviously we're working on the back side of our work. So we're now going to do continue increasing here on that one side for the slant to be bigger. And how far do we go? How far do we go? It makes very much sense. Once you understand it, you're going to go until you have 10 stitches, right? Because we started with 10 stitches. So you're going to end with 10 stitches. So here's my increase right there. And now I'm going to do 1 stitch per stitch, and anytime I'm in that slant area, that's where I'm going to add my increases. Okay. Maxine says, I'm glad I watched the video beforehand. That's right. This is why I do these live crochet alongs. I really want you to make sure that you understand it, because although I think the pattern is fairly easy, sometimes we have a mental block, and it happens to me too, right? I'm one of those people that likes to visualize what I'm doing. So when I read patterns, I visualize it in my head. I can see images. So if you can't see that, I get that. Not everyone can. Okay. You might want to write it down or something, but in some kind of way, you want to make sure that you understanding not just the stitches, but why are you doing it this way? Like there's usually a reason behind it. Not every designer will reveal that to you. I get that. but I like to tell you so that makes more sense to you. Let me check how many stitches I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I have 9 stitches, which means you guys remember one more row, okay, until we hit 10. Okay, that's important. Now you could add one more row of single crochet stitches after to make it even, but I like to have mine a little stretch. Unless I'm gonna feel like it needs a little extra. So I'm gonna check in a second. So right here is my last increase right here. Okay. Ooh, I split my yarn. Hang on, gotta go back for a second. Do one more stitch because I split my yarn. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to put it on. So this is how it looks like. Okay, so this side is straight, the other side is slanted. So you're going to put this on. Okay, and you're going to check now. Is this proper? Is it too far? Should I be adding another row? So I actually think, because I told you before that my tension was looser on this doll, so I actually think I should add one more row right here. Do you see that? Even though I'm stretching it, okay, I still feel like one row is missing. For my other one, it was necessary. But here I feel like one row is missing. Okay, so what that means, I'm going to add one more row of just single crochet stitches. So that's what I want you to do too. Because sometimes you need to adjust on the pattern, and that's okay. All right, so your tension may be a little off. And for amigurumi, it's not extremely important how your tension is. Your animal can be a tiny bit bigger or smaller. That's fine. But I need you to understand how you can adjust it easily. Is that making sense, you guys? Leave me a comment down below. I want to make sure that that mental image is there for you. So now I added one additional row of single crochet stitches. So let's see if it fits this time around. Okay. Now I put this on. Okay, I'm going to lay this over, and with a little bit of stretch, now it touches. So now obviously I would be sewing this on right here, right? So you make it even wherever it is in the front, make it in the back, and you sew this on. I'm not going to do this on camera right now, but you get the point, right? You're just sewing it on to that leftover loop here on the back. Okay, and then you're going to use a yarn of the darker gold yarn, and wrap it around it, just like you can see here on this image, as a belt. Okay, so I'm not going to do this right now because I need to finish my skirt part first. But you see it on this image right here. For the belt, there's no crocheting involved. You just wrap it around, make a bow tie in the back or in the front if you want. And then you have your belt. I would recommend pulling it a little bit. It gives it a little bit more of a waist. But you do you, okay? Are we good? Are there any questions about the toga? This is your time to ask questions. Let me know. Are there any questions about the toga? Because I'm going to transition now into the wings. I'm going to show you part of the wings, and I'll show you how to finish it. And obviously then you're going to let it dry overnight once you slather it with some glue, okay? Are we good? Leave me a comment down below really quick and let me know if you're good. You can do a thumbs up, but in the comments, because I don't see the thumbs up that are flying around, unfortunately. But yes. So do you guys want me to show you the belt part? I'm totally open to showing the belt part, but it's really easy. I'm just going to show you real quick because there's no crocheting involved, right? Might as well. So I'm going to snip a piece of my yarn. My scissors weren't scissoring. Have you ever had that? Yeah, if they're dull. Mine were not dull, technically, but I think I was holding it improper. So what you're going to do, pretend I finished my piece. You're just going to wrap it around. Okay, I'm holding tight here on one end. And when you're all done, you're going to pull this, wrap, and pull. And you can do this as far or as many times as you want. Okay, you can also crochet it if you want. I like the belt, you know, by just using the string part kind of thing. And you wrap it around, and then you're going to make your little bow tie. I like to make mine in the back so I can hide it. But you could also make a knot if you're like saying, oh, mine is permanent. I didn't want mine permanent, so I added a bow. Well, my bow didn't bow. Let's do this again. There we go. Right, and that's how you do the belt. Is that making sense? Obviously that would be over the skirt part, but yeah, are we good? Betty says replay. It's not a replay yet, girl. I'm still here. Eileen Lynn says, I'm there watching with the little background, loving the little Cupid. Yay! And Sheila says she's good. Awesome. Okay, now let's get into the wings. Okay, the wings are going to look like this in the end. Okay, obviously mine hasn't been slathered in glue yet, which is why I can move it a lot, and I have, you know, things bending. Like this is normal. Okay, so once you add your glue to it, it'll, you know, weigh it down a little bit. It's almost like blocking, but it's hardening at the same time. But it doesn't make it like hard. Okay, like extremely hard, unless you add a little bit of water to it. I didn't add water on mine. I just literally put glue all over. So whoopsie daisy. I take the Elmer's glue, right? And I'm not going to show you right now, but I literally like slathered it all over, and then I rubbed it in with my fingers. There's a reason why I'm not showing you now, because I need to crochet still, right? So you rub it all over. It will look weird, and you're going to be like, I can't see my crochet. Don't worry. This one dries clear. Obviously, make sure it dries clear. But this one literally says dries clear. That's what you want. So you're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Slather it all over, and then you have some plastic wrap or something. You put it underneath. I put a plastic wrap on my countertop in a kitchen and just laid it there. Let it dry for about, let's say, I would say probably 3 to 4 hours on one side. Then you flip it over. So, you know, do it like, let's say 5 o'clock. I don't know when you go to bed. Let's pretend 5 o'clock is when you're going to do it. Lay it down. Then 3 hours later, 8 or 9-ish, whatever. And then you flip it over and let it dry overnight. Okay. And then in the morning, it's all good to go. You can also add like a wire underneath. Okay, but my worry about the wire is that's going to get stuck on it. This is glue after all. Okay, I don't want it to get stuck on it, which is why I put it on plastic wrap and then just flipped it. But you do you. Okay, now let me actually show you how to do this. So you're going to take either white yarn or glittery yarn. I have here some glitter yarn. This is like white with silver in it. This one is not, I don't think this is available anymore. I got this from Joann's probably 2 years ago, and it's called North Pole Yarn Candy Cane, and was from Lion Brand. It was like a limited edition situation, so I do not know if this still exists or it's still around. But Mary Maxim also has some glitter yarn, worsted yarn. I don't know if they have a silver in it, but I know they have gold in some of them. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the beginning of it. For this part, it is very crucial that you know how to do a magic ring. I highly recommend you know how to do this. Practice, practice, practice. Because if you're not doing a magic ring here, you're going to have to make a big chain on this. A big chain. Like a big chain. So when I say big chain, okay, I'm talking like probably the size of this before you go into the next chain. So like you need a big chain. Okay, if you're not doing a magic ring, add everything into a big chain. But you're going to have to like tie this up later. So if you're doing it with a magic ring, it's going to be much easier. Okay, so magic ring, pull your yarn through, adjust everything, and then you're going to make your chains. Here's your big loop. That's where you need that loop. It stays like that until the very end. Do not pull this until you're done. Okay, so I'm going to make here 17 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. So this is how it looks like. That magic ring is staying until you're done with the wing. Okay, so keep that in mind. I'm just going to keep saying this. We're now going to skip 2 chains, and we're going to go into the back loop, or back bump, excuse me, back bump only, and we're going to crochet 1 single crochet per chain, per stitch, however you want to say it, until you're back at the magic ring. Okay. Is this clear so far? That should be very straightforward. You either have a big chain in the beginning or you have a magic ring. Either way, I don't care. I prefer the magic ring. It's going to be much easier in the end. Trust me. Sometimes I just say, trust the process. Trust the process. It's true, but I do also want you to understand why you're doing it. Okay? So we're now going to just do 1 single crochet per stitch until we're back. meaning until we hit the magic ring. That's where it gets a little bit challenging. So once you get very close to it, the very last one is usually a little challenging to find. Okay, it's right there. Let me actually zoom in just a tad. Whee! Okay, so you can see I have one more chain right there. So I'm going to go into that, make my last single crochet stitch. Now you need to do a slip stitch. So hold tight on your loop, on your magic ring, however you want to say it. You're going to make a slip stitch. And what happens with the slip stitch, because it's not a single crochet stitch, it will make this twisted. You're going to see this twist a little bit, especially when you go further in. You're going to see it. So hold tight on it when you're turning. Hold tight on it. Now you're going to go in the back loop only. From now on, back loop only. No matter which side you are, back loop only. Whatever your perspective, you're going to back loop only. Ignore the slip stitch. You're not going in that. You're going into the single crochet stitches. So you can see how this twisted. Do you see how this twisted over now? So now it's in the right direction. Once you make your first single crochet stitch, it stays there. But that's usually the challenging part, that very first single crochet stitch. You're now going to crochet again, single crochet stitches, until you have like one chain left over, one stitch left. We're going to stop right there. So let me show you. Okay, it's very easy. Trust me, it's easy. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if this is so far very clear. So I'm going to keep going. Keep going. I'm going to pull my yarn here. One single crochet per stitch. I split my yarn in between, which is why I slowed down for a second here. Okay, so you can see right here, there's 2 single crochets left. I'm going to go in this one and I'm going to stop. See that? So, and go into the same single crochet that you just made. And again, back loop only. Whatever your perspectives, you see how I turned? I turned it. So whatever perspective you are in, you're going to make a single crochet in the back loop only. That way you have that ridge happening that's so popular for the wings. That's what you want to do. So I'm going to do one more row back and forth because I want you to see how this works. It's very easy, okay? Once you get the hang of it, it's very easy. Diana says, yes, I understand how the wings for birds. Yes, they're very easy. That's true. So, I mean, you can make wings a lot of different ways, but I feel like this is the very natural way. So right here, you can see is our last single crochet stitch. You can count your stitches too, as long as if you don't see your stitches, count your stitches, okay? Now, you need to right now, after your last one, go into the slip stitch or into the magic ring and make a slip stitch right here. Now, here's where the turning, do you see how this twists? You will see it twisting, okay? Because this yarn is now going to go around it, so it's going to twist it. So let me show you. I'm going to turn my work, okay? And this is where the twist is happening. You see it? It twists right here. So you have to hold tight on it. Hold tight on it somehow. I like to do it like this. Okay, and I'm not going to go back into slip stitch, but I'm going to go into the single crochet stitch. And then I make my single crochet stitch, and now the twist stays where it needs to stay. And now let's go back. I'm going to do one more row back and forth, and it's just a repeat of itself. You're pretty much decreasing 1 stitch per, let's call it round, because it's really back and forth, right? If you want to call it a round, that's fine. I'm splitting my yarn again. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the back loop only per stitch until I have 1 left. Then I stop. So we're pretty much decreasing, right? And making this beautiful shape happening. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions. So let's see, there's 2 stitches left. I'm going to do in 1 stitch and I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go into that one. Chain of 2, turn, and go into the single crochet you just made. So you skip 2 stitches, go into the single crochet stitch, and go and make your single crochets in a back loop only. Are the both wings made the same way? Yes, because when you turn them, they look exactly the same. Exactly the same. So yes, you make the wings twice, and I'll show you in a second. I'm going to finish this row right here, so that you see how this looks like, and I'll show you how it looks like once it's finished, okay? So right here, and then I would make my slip stitch after my last stitch, whoop, right? And you're going to continue doing this until you have 5 stitches left, okay? When you do so, it's going to look like this. You see that? Let me zoom out just a tad since the wing is a tiny bit bigger. Okay, it's going to look like this. So you pretty much go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you have 5 stitches left. You're decreasing 1 stitch per, that's called a round. So round would be 2 rows, right? One way, back way. That's 1 round. So you're decreasing 1 stitch per round, and you have that little hanging off part of it, which is the wing part of it. You make sense, right? The feathers. And you can see that this side looks exactly the same as this side. They're exactly the same, all right? So now you're going to take that loop, that yarn, that leftover yarn, that hanging yarn, not the one that you were working with, but the one that is hanging right here. So it would be this one right here. Do you see that? This one right here is this one. And all you're going to do now is pull. Okay. So pull, 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 pull until it closes the hole. So I'm going to pull until the end, until it's closed. Okay. And then what I like to do is make a knot. So make sure that nothing comes undone like so. And yes, it looks like a bowl shape right now. That's okay. You're just going to lay it out like so. And that's where you're going to then ladder it with glue, right? This part I'm going to weave in first. Okay. This part we're going to use the longer piece. We're going to use for sewing. So here you can see I have 2 of them now. I didn't weave in my ends yet. Okay. I just want to show you how it looks like. So they're exactly the same. So if I flip this around, you can see it's exactly the same. Okay, just one side is flipped. And what you're now going to do, we're not going to talk about the sewing on part yet. Okay, that's going to be tomorrow because you have to let it dry overnight. Ladder it. Is that the right word to say? Ladder it. Put glue all over, okay, on both sides. Both sides, very important. Rub it nicely into the stitches, okay? Wash your hands after you laid it out. You know, you can, when you have the glue on, you can kind of adjust certain things a little bit the way you want to. Let it dry on each side roughly 3 to 4 hours. If you really, really want it harder, add a little bit of water in it first. So put it in a bowl, mix it with a tiny bit of water first, then put it on. It'll make it a little harder. That water kind of holds it a little bit together, but drying time is longer. The more water you add, the longer the drying time. So I'm not going to add water because a little bit movement is fine. But the way you see it right there, it stands up on its own, but it still bends a little bit if you wanted to. Slattery. I'm saying it right, right? Anyways, are we all good? Are we all good? So we went through the halo. Okay, let me show you again. Here's my cute little halo. We went through the toga. So you can see it right here. I'm going to finish mine off camera, of course. And we did the wings. Are we all good on part 2? I told you today is a little bit shorter. Tomorrow is going to be even shorter. So that way you have enough time to catch up, finish up your work. I am so excited about finishing Cupid, especially because mine looks much cuter the second time around. Really happy because of the bigger eyes. So if you use bigger eyes, it makes it cuter. I don't know. It just happens. Okay. You guys let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. It's always important to be here live because that way you can ask questions and you get answers immediately. If you ever watch the replay, which I highly recommend for anyone who's here, watch the replay again so you go through it again so that way you remember this is where I need to do this. This is where I need to do this. Watch the replay. That's fine. That's what it's here for. I'm not deleting it. Watch the replay, okay? Go through the pattern step by step. Have the written instructions next to you. You either have it on my website. Leave the ads there, please. If you don't see ads, something's wrong, okay? The ads allow me to create more free patterns for you. Leave the ads there. Let it sit right there, okay? And if you don't like the ads, which is okay, just get the PDF or be part of the Crochet Club because they instantly have access to the ad-free version as well. Either way, it works for me, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I'll see you back here for part 3 tomorrow, same time, different link, but same time, same place. And on Saturday, we have a big party with prizes. Regardless if you finish Mr. or Mrs. Cupid, we're going to have prizes for everyone. Everyone is invited, so please tell your crochet besties to show up so we all have fun together. Anyways, I'm excited. Let's spread some love with Cupid, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, bye!